Greetings to all our dear viewers and friends. As you can see, insomnia is not just a problem for older adults anymore. Teenagers and young people are struggling with it too. I have a question for you all. Are you satisfied with your sleep? Or to put it more simply, do you sleep well? Do you get enough sleep? Do you wake up feeling refreshed? Let me frame it this way. If option A marked with a green check means yes, and option B marked with a red check means no, I'm willing to bet that a lot of you would pick the red check. Not sleeping well is incredibly harmful, folks, seriously harmful. It messes with your mood, your productivity, your health, and even your life. There are so many traffic accidents caused by lack of sleep or insomnia. That's the truth, and it's terrifying. If we don't do something to improve our sleep, our lives are going to be pretty tough, my friends. We've got to do something to sleep better. This is both a call to action and a lament. We have to act, but what do we do? How do we do it, right? Don't worry, because this video was made for exactly that purpose. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to one of the most reputable and well-known resources in the world for improving sleep. I'm confident about this. What is it? It's a list of 12 tips to combat insomnia compiled by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute of the United States. This resource is incredibly famous and highly credible, my friends. So many prestigious magazines and publications around the world have referenced this list of 12 tips. There's no question these are extremely reliable recommendations vetted by doctors, experts, and trusted scientists, and published by an organization you can't help but trust, the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. All right, let's dive right into the first tip on the list of 12 tips to help you sleep better. To be honest with you all, at first I thought I'd just read the document to you, but I realized that would be too dull, too ordinary. And honestly, if I did something that uncreative, I'd get bored. So I decided to take a more interesting approach. I'm going to distill the key, most important points from each section and focus on those. This will do two things. First, it'll keep this video from dragging on too long because reading the whole thing would be exhausting. Second, for any parts of the document that are hard to understand, I'll explain and add context to make them clear for you. Now let's get to the essence of the first tip. What is it? It's this: have a sleep schedule. If you want to sleep better, a sleep schedule is incredibly important. In simple terms, it means going to bed and waking up at the same time every day consistently. This is super critical, my friends, and here's why: humans are creatures of habit. We have a biological clock, and habits are a huge part of our lives. This applies to sleep too. If you make an effort to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day for a long period, you'll reap the benefits of a natural, healthy, and frankly admirable habit. Here's what happens in the evening: when that bedtime rolls around, your body will automatically feel sleepy and ready to rest. It's like clockwork. And in the morning at your wake-up time, you'll wake up naturally without needing an alarm. This is a very natural and incredibly healthy way to sleep, folks. So remember, have a sleep schedule. Work on building and maintaining that schedule, going to bed and waking up at the same time day after day for a long time. It's absolutely fantastic. The document also suggests setting an alarm for your wake-up time, but they recommend setting one for your bedtime too. Try to stick to these two time slots every day, month after month, year after year. If you do, your sleep health will be amazing. This is the most important tip out of the 12, my friends. Try to check off the green box for this one. If you can follow this advice, your entire life will benefit. Now let's move on to the second tip. The second tip to help you sleep better, and you should aim to check off the green box for this one too. Like a small mission accomplished for a great night's sleep, is this exercise for at least 30 minutes every day. This will make your body healthier, stronger, and more alert. The benefits of exercise are undeniable, right? You should aim for at least 30 minutes of exercise. But here's the catch: everything has two sides. Even exercise. If you work out within 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, it can directly affect your sleep. You'll find it harder to fall asleep if you're active too close to bedtime. So the official advice here is to avoid exercising within 2 to 3 hours of going to bed. For example, if you go to bed at 11 p.m., don't exercise after 8 p.m. Try to work out as early as possible, as far from bedtime as you can. If you exercise and it costs you your sleep, that's a risky trade-off. The harm outweighs the benefit. The third tip for sleeping better, more consistently, and with higher quality is this, and you should try to check this one off too. I really want you to rack up as many green checks as possible across these 12 tips. So what's the third tip? Avoid caffeine and nicotine. If you're someone who's hooked on foods or drinks with caffeine, Don't worry, I'll explain how you can still enjoy them, but in a smarter way. First, let's talk about where caffeine is found. Coffee, cola, some teas, and even some chocolates. You need to be really careful with these because they can directly impact your sleep. It takes about 8 hours for your body to clear caffeine from your bloodstream. That's according to this document, but I've come across other more recent studies that suggest it can take up to 10 hours to fully eliminate caffeine. 10 hours, folks! Let's say it's 4 p.m. and you meet up with someone for coffee. You're feeling good, so you order a cup. You think it's still early, no big deal. But here's the thing, that 4 p.m. coffee could very well mess with your sleep that night. If you add 8 hours to 4 p.m., that's 1600 plus 8, you get 24 hours or midnight. That's when the caffeine might finally be out of your system, assuming the 8-hour timeline. If it's 10 hours, add 10 to 16 hours and you're looking at 2 a.m. See how you're making it hard on your body? So be mindful of how long caffeine stays in your system. Drink coffee at a time that works. For example, if you go to bed at 11 p.m., that's $23.00. Subtract 10 hours and you should have your last caffeinated drink or food before 1 p.m. to be safe. As for nicotine that's in cigarettes, and smoking is harmful forever. The advice here is tough but clear: quit smoking. It doesn't just hurt your sleep, it hurts everything. Especially at night, smoking can make your sleep shallow and poor quality. There's tons of research showing that poor sleep shortens your lifespan. So in summary, avoid caffeine and nicotine. Dear friends, let's move on to the fourth checkmark to help you sleep better and with better quality. What is it? Avoid alcoholic drinks before bed. Many of you probably know that alcohol, beer, wine, liquor isn't great for your health, but you might not know exactly how it harms your sleep. Let me explain. Drinking a lot of alcohol at night directly damages your REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement, the sleep stage, where your eyes move under your lids. To keep it simple, we don't just sleep in one continuous state from night to morning. Our sleep alternates between REM sleep, where our eyes move, and non-REM sleep, where they don't. These two types cycle through the night. I won't dive too deep because we don't have time, but both types of sleep are crucial. Missing either one is bad news for your health, really bad. Studies show that a lack of REM sleep can mess with your memory, disrupt your mood, lower your cognitive performance, and negatively affect your body's cell regeneration process. Alcohol significantly reduces your REM sleep. And that's not all. If you drink hard liquor, it can even impair your breathing at night. There's a ton of harm. Sometimes you might drink and feel like you're sleeping well, but that's not true. Those are poor quality sleeps because your REM sleep is compromised. No wonder you wake up feeling exhausted, irritable, or forgetful. Your skin might even look rough because cell regeneration is affected. See, I'm explaining this clearly so you understand. Drinking at night does nothing good for your health. Remember that. The fifth tip to sleep better and with better quality is to avoid heavy meals at night. Eating a lot in the evening makes it harder to sleep. It's simple nighttime is when your body's organs, including your digestive system, need a rest. But if you load up on a huge meal, your digestive system has to work overtime when it should be resting or operating at a low level. So while your body is supposed to be relaxing, it's grinding away, and that makes it hard to sleep well. Also, drinking too much water at night isn't great either. It can cause you to wake up to use the bathroom, interrupting your sleep, and building a bad habit. So please don't eat heavily or drink too much at night. Simple, right? But it's not random. It's in this list for a reason. The sixth tip in the list of 12 to help you sleep better. What is it? Be cautious about medications that can harm your sleep. Many over-the-counter drugs for minor ailments like colds, allergies, or coughs contain ingredients that can affect your sleep. The same goes for some prescription medications for heart conditions, high blood pressure, or asthma. You need to pay attention to the drugs you're taking. I'm not saying don't take them. That's not my point. What I mean is, ask your doctor or pharmacist questions like, will this medication affect my sleep? Or is there an alternative with similar effects that won't impact my sleep? I'm concerned about my rest. If you have to take a medication with no substitute, ask something like, is there a different time of day I can take this instead of at night or in the evening? The goal is to take it as far from bedtime as possible to minimize its impact on your sleep. The key is to ask questions to the professionals prescribing or dispensing your meds. You don't want to take something to cure one problem, only to end up with worse sleep, which slows your recovery. It's such a shame if that happens. Try asking these questions and the experts will clarify things for you. Here's the seventh tip, and it's super quick and concise. What is it? Don't nap after 3 p.m. Simple reason: it can make it harder to fall asleep at night. Many of you have probably experienced this sleep too late in the afternoon, and you're tossing and turning at night. It's obvious, so just avoid napping after 3 p.m. That includes dozing off, nodding off, or full-on naps. Limit them. Of course, there are exceptions not covered in the document, and I'll add something from my own experience. In critical cases, like if you're a driver who's sleep-deprived or you're utterly exhausted, you have to sleep to recover. You can't push through exhaustion without resting. That's dangerous. But if your health is fine and you're just feeling a bit drowsy in the afternoon, maybe out of habit, avoid napping. Those naps can mess with your nighttime sleep. I remember visiting someone in the hospital once, and they'd just gone through treatment. I heard the doctor tell them to rest and sleep as much as they could to aid recovery. I'm clarifying this so you can apply it practically without confusion. If your health is normal and you tend to nap in the afternoon out of laziness, don't. Napping after 3 p.m. can keep you up at night. All right, let's move to the 8th tip. The 8th tip in the list of 12 is this: relax before bed. If you go to bed in a relaxed state, you're much more likely to fall asleep and fall asleep well. The advice here is to avoid going to bed with a heavy mind. Don't get caught up in serious, troubling thoughts. Those can wreck your sleep. Sometimes people have free time before bed, pick up their phone, and accidentally get sucked into some online drama or controversy. That pulls you into a spiral of thoughts, kills your relaxed vibe, and ruins your sleep. That's the worst, folks. Seriously, you're hurting yourself. Before bed, try to get yourself into a relaxed state. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute suggests creating bedtime rituals that you do every night, like a path to guide you into sleep. For example, listen to music, read a few pages of a novel or a book about living well, and then head to bed. Over time, this builds a habit, a reflex. Your body learns that when you listen to music or read a few pages, it's time to sleep. We've already established that humans are creatures of habit, so train yourself to have habits that make sleep a natural reflex. One thing to note: if you read, use a physical book or an e-reader, not your phone or tablet. The blue light from those screens can suppress your sleep. Be careful about that. Now let's move to the 9th tip. This one doesn't get a green check mark, it gets a blue one. I'll explain why in a moment. The 9th tip for better sleep is to take a hot bath before bed. I know you're probably thinking, wait, what? Don't worry. I get it, and I'm on your side. Just hear me out. Here's the principle behind this method according to the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. When you take a hot bath, your body temperature rises. When you step out of the bath, your temperature drops. That drop in body temperature helps you feel relaxed and makes it easier to fall asleep, leading to better sleep. That's their explanation. But like you, when I read this, I had doubts. 2 words flashed in my mind: sudden death. There's been so much news about this, so I spent a lot of time researching and verifying. Here's what I found. An article in a newspaper included an interview, I'll show the excerpt on screen, that said there's no clear, consistent scientific evidence proving that bathing at night increases the risk of sudden death or is dangerous to health. That's one point. Another article in Inhandan newspaper cited statistics from Hanoi's Central Acupuncture Hospital, stating that sudden death after late-night bathing often occurs in people with pre-existing chronic conditions like heart disease, high blood pressure, or high cholesterol, especially when combined with factors like eating a heavy meal, being drunk, or sleeping in a cold room. These can lead to dangerous complications, with the worst being sudden death. So what can we conclude? First, the link between bathing at night and sudden death isn't fully clear or universally agreed upon in the medical community. Second, it tends to happen in people with underlying health conditions. This 9th tip might work for some, but not others. It's the only tip I'm not urging you to rush into. That's why it gets a blue check, not a green one. Don't blindly follow it without understanding the information and your own health. I'll add some reliable information for you. The article I mentioned, check the link I'll provide. Read it carefully to get the full picture of whether bathing at night is risky and what you should or shouldn't do. Equip yourself with knowledge to make informed decisions. This is serious, so don't act blindly. Don't follow this method without reviewing credible sources like the article I pointed out. That's the first thing. Second, if you're worried, don't want to take risks, or are too lazy to research, you can try a similar alternative to bathing at night, soaking your feet. Now let's move to the 10th tip. What is it? A good sleep environment. In simple terms, your sleep space needs 3 things. It must be dark, it must be cool, and it must be old school. Let me explain. Dark is obvious, don't let light sneak in. Experts say sleep needs darkness. Second, it should be cool because heat makes it hard to sleep. Third, old school means no modern devices invading your space. Keep it simple, rustic, and you'll sleep better. Devices like TVs, laptops, and phones make sleep tough. I'm amazed at people who check emails on their phone or laptop right before bed. A good sleep environment is dark, cool, and old school. Also, don't look at the clock while trying to sleep. Clocks can create pressure. It's late. I'm not asleep yet. I need to sleep. That anxiety makes it harder to rest. If possible, don't keep a clock in your bedroom. Keep phones and laptops out of sight far away. Sleep with just your bed pillow in a dark, cool space. That's it. Now let's move to the 11th tip. Proper exposure to sunlight is great because daylight is key to regulating your daily sleep habits. Your body has a biological clock like I mentioned. This clock affects many aspects of your life: eating, sleeping, everything. When it gets dark, your body reacts, signaling it's time to sleep, and you feel sleepy. When it's bright, it signals it's time to wake up. Your body responds to light and dark, training you to have reflexes. Dark means sleep. Light means wake. That's a natural sleep pattern. Sleep. So try to get sunlight exposure, especially in the morning after waking up. It helps standardize your biological clock, making your sleep and wake habits consistent. You'll find it easier to sleep and wake up. Aim for at least 30 minutes of sunlight daily, ideally an hour, and stick to morning sunlight. Morning only, don't wait until the UV rays are strong and damaging your skin. Finally, the 12th tip, and it's worth noting, if you can't fall asleep at night, don't lie there, tossing and turning. If you've been trying for about 20 minutes and still can't sleep, or you feel like you're forcing yourself and getting anxious. Why can't I sleep? Don't stay in bed. Get up. Relax by taking a light walk or revisit the 8th tip. Listen to music or read a few pages of a book. Stay calm, relax, and don't force yourself to sleep. Forcing it and worrying about not sleeping is exactly what keeps you awake. The fastest way to sleep is to do the opposite. Don't pressure yourself. Relax and you'll fall asleep sooner than if you lie there stressing. That's it. I've gone through all 12 tips to help you sleep better and with better quality. Sure, these tips might sound simple, but following them is a challenge. Everything valuable in life takes effort, and sleep is no different. If you believe you deserve a good night's sleep, you have to work for it. It's that simple. Make the effort, try hard, and check off as many boxes as you can on this list. Your sleep will improve dramatically, and when you sleep well, almost every other aspect of your life will get better too. At some point, I'll make a separate video about the benefits of sleep. It impacts nearly every part of our lives. This video has been long, but I hope my effort to bring this resource to you and explain it clearly helps you see the rational, healthy ways to improve your sleep. I wish you all success with your sleep. Sleep well. Sleep strong, sleep wonderfully. For now, bye-bye, and I'll see you in the next video.